How's it going, guys? Jacob here. Today you're going to learn how to uncover budgets from clients. How do you figure out what their budget is? How do you reveal the largest budget possible so that you can make the most money? And how do you avoid the pushback that you normally get when you're asking for a budget? I recently uncovered a $400,000 budget for X27. It's almost $500,000 for marketing for the next year. If I close that deal, it would be huge, right? Going from closing $12,000 deals to almost $500,000 deals is a big difference, and it takes the same amount of work pretty much to close a small deal and a big deal. So if you want to close bigger deals, stick around. By the way, if you want a free lead generation training document, grab the link down below. You will learn how to generate leads for cold email step by step in a bulletproof short training with videos that I will show you my best tips, tricks to generate leads to make thousands and thousands of dollars. Who am I? I'm Jacob Two-Winer. I'm the salesperson for Experiment 27, where we do done-for-you marketing. And in the last 5 years alone, we've generated over $100 million in closed business for our clients. And today I'm going to share with you what I've learned working there. So when I first started at X27, I think my very first deal was $12,000. And now my biggest deal is $165,000. And recently, I uncovered a $400,000 budget. So how do you go from these really small deals to large deals? Well, there's two things that I'm going to teach you in this video that you need to know. The first one is using the right clients, or actually selling to the right clients. And number two is asking for budget in the right way. So what do I mean by the right clients? You can have clients that pay a lot and pay a little, and usually the difference is actually not in the service itself, it's actually who you're selling to. So by picking the right clients, those that we call golden geese, these are companies between 5 million and 150 million in revenue. These companies will pay 5, 6, even 7 figures for a deal, right? For marketing, for example, but they also close quickly, relatively quickly compared to the enterprise. Everybody wants Fortune 500 billion-dollar brands. They have million-dollar deals, but they take a very long time to close, years sometimes. Whereas the local mom and pop shops do close in 1 or 2 phone calls, but they're broke and they're terrible to work with. So that middle ground of golden geese companies is exactly where you want to be, because it will help you close big deals quickly. That's where we go, and if you want to learn how to sell to golden geese and book meetings with them, grab the lead generation training document down below. The second thing, and this is really the coolest part of what I learned recently, is asking for budget properly. So what I used to do is I would ask them at the end of the call, okay, so what's your budget for this? What's your budget? And that's kind of a vague question, and usually people would say, oh, well, I don't know what my budget is, or you tell me, or how much does it cost? And it's kind of this war. They don't want to give away their budget before they know what you want to quote them, because they're probably price shopping. And the other thing is they might not even know what their budget is. So how do you uncover a budget that's not just a few $1,000s a year, or sorry, a few $1,000s a month, but rather hundreds of thousands of dollars per year? It starts out in the discovery phase. You should check out my video about discovery calls if you have not already. But the first thing you have to do is uncover their current context and goals. So where are they now with the business, and where do they want to go? Watch my discovery call videos if you don't know what I'm talking about. Once you've established that they are, let's say, a $5 million company, and they want to be at $7 million by the end of the year, you know that in 12 months they want to add $2 million, right? So over the next 12 months, they want to grow by $2 million. And so now, instead of asking them what's your budget or whatever, you just ask, what's your cost of acquisition? Or what are you planning to be your acquisition cost for marketing and sales? You can say cost of sale, cost of acquisition. And if they're an established company or business owner or marketer, they should know what you're talking about, and they'll answer you. But what that basically means is a percentage of revenue. So a company has to acquire customers and then deliver the products at a higher price than the actual cost of producing it and the actual cost of acquiring the customer, right? If I run a Facebook ad to sell a car, and let's say to sell this notebook, right? If I spend $100 to sell the notebook in advertising before I get one customer, and the notebook is only $100, right? I might break even, but I actually might lose money because the price of the notebook to make might be $50, right? So I spent $50 on the notebook and $100 on ads to get one customer. So I'm actually minus $50. Now, if I can spend $20 on the advertisement to get one customer and spend $50 on the notebook, Now I'm paying $70 in total to get the customer, to get the sale, and to make the notebook, which means that I have a $30 profit. So you can think about cost of acquisition as a percentage of revenue, and typically it's anywhere from 10 to 20%. Usually 5 to 10% for marketing I think is pretty fair, and same thing with sales. So when I say marketing, I mean on all the marketing spend to generate the leads you need on Facebook, on Google, on wherever, right? 5 to 10% of revenue is typically what you should budget. And for sales, meaning paying the salesperson, their salary, the time it takes for them to respond to the lead, take the meeting, right? The commission that they're gonna earn. When all is said and done, a product, typically, at least in the agency world I've seen, I think cost of sale between 10 and 20% is pretty good. So that's what I'll ask them. If they tell me they wanna make $1 million in sales in the next year, I go, great, what's your cost of acquisition? So if they say 10 to 15%, you know that they're budgeting $100,000 to $150,000 for the next year for this. That's their budget. So now you just uncovered their budget by only asking how much they want to make and what their cost of acquisition is, not even their budget. And you can say something like, okay, well, if your cost of acquisition is 15% and you want to make $1 million in the next 12 months, that means your budget's like around $150,000. And if you do that properly, they'll tell you. And if it's not, if they say no, then a few things could be going on here. And you want to ask, well, I'm confused. You just told me you want to make $1 million and you're budgeting 15%. So how is that not right? And they'll explain. Sometimes what will usually happen is they'll try and go lower than what you said. If they try and change it up on you, they'll try and go lower than what you predicted, because there's only one of two reasons. They're lying to you or they don't know how business works. And I would say, I assume that my clients and my prospects are not lying. I assume that they're truthful and honest people, which means that they really just don't know what they're talking about. A lot of people think that they can spend $10,000 on marketing and make $1 million. That's a 1% cost of acquisition. That is unheard of. That's a 100x return on investment. If any company or any investment, any stock or any real estate deal had a 100x ROI, especially within 12 months, everybody would flood to that market, and then it would be saturated, and then that return would no longer be there, because that's unheard of, right? So you could actually have this conversation with a client if they're trying to BS you and they don't actually understand what it takes to achieve a certain goal, right? You can sit down with them and say, look, Frank, you just told me you want to make $1 million, but if you're not comfortable investing $100,000 to $150,000, it doesn't add up. So you either need to lower your expectation of what you can actually generate in terms of revenue in that time frame, or increase your budget, what's going to be. So if they want to lower their budget, fine, but they also need to lower their forecasted results. And if they want that result, they really want it, then you can just convince them to increase their budget to achieve it, right? And now you have that budget there. I used this strategy last week, and I uncovered a $400,000 budget. We had a call about all the marketing channels that he wants to do. And then he told me at the end of the call that he wants to also hire salespeople. So we have a call next week to talk about his his marketing plan, and also how many salespeople he wants, etc. And then I'm going to put together a plan for probably $150,000 to $200,000 in revenue for the company, and not to mention hundreds of thousands of dollars available for budgeting for marketing. So it could be a huge deal for X27. It could be a huge deal for this guy too. It's going to be amazing. And the only reason I was able to uncover all of these different things, right, and actually uncover his whole budget for the whole year, is because I knew how to run a proper discovery. I uncovered his context and goals. I uncovered the solutions in his mind. He told me directories, Google Ads. I want to do partnerships, right? And I want to hire salespeople. And then I asked him how much he's allocating for all this. 20%. 20% of $2 million is $400,000, boys. That's how you do it. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you struggle with the most when it comes to asking for budget, and I can answer your questions in the comments down below. If you want the free lead generation training document, please make sure to grab it. And if you want a personal call with me to help you with your cold email and sales, you can grab that too. Click the link down below and you can book a time with me. I just helped my last client triple his close rate, his meeting book rate, triple his meeting book rate, increase his close rate. He booked himself solid to the point where he's turning people away, and his operations team can't handle any more work. You actually can watch a video about the story on my channel as well. It's called How I Grew Mike's Business. You can check it out. If you want me to do that for you too, grab a call with me and we'll make it happen. Thanks so much. Take it easy. Peace.